Good evening. I'm Dr. Jo. I'm a doctor working in New Zealand. I'm a GP, so family doctor. I'm just walking home and I thought I would just put a few words to camera, a few thoughts for the day. I thought I would actually vlog every day this week, so aiming for a daily vlog on thoughts of being a GP or thoughts from a doctor's point of view. So today I thought I'd talk about how to get the most out of your GP appointment. So the first thing I would say is book your appointment well in advance if you can. Okay, I realise it's not always possible. If there's something very urgent, your GP practice will hopefully have an appointment available urgently. But let's just leave those appointments to one side for a moment, because I know if you're in certain countries in the world, getting in to see a GP is extremely difficult, and I know it can be a 6-week wait or a 2-month wait. Anyway, we will just talk. I'm just going to talk about my practice from my point of view. So yes, if you know you need to see your GP about something routine, or something that can wait, or not urgent, then I would encourage you to try and think about that a little bit beforehand if you can, and try and book your appointment kind of when you're thinking about it. Don't think, I really need to see my GP about my blood pressure, and then put it off, and then suddenly it's an urgent thing. So if you can kind of predict there's something on your mind about your health, or your prescriptions are due for a check at the doctor's or whatever. My practice, it's really good to, if our patients can book about 3 weeks in advance. Sometimes we have appointments about 2 weeks away, but anything under that, unless it's urgent, is pretty unusual. So yes, booking 2 or 3 weeks in advance. Book also, if you have the option, try and actually book a time where you're not going to be rushed yourself, because we all know doctors run late, and I suppose we all know a doctor who runs on time, but it's not me, and most of my patients know it's not me. So I would say, if you actually know that your doctor doesn't run on time, if you have a lovely doctor like me, then I would say, don't book an appointment with your doctor at 11 o'clock in the morning and have a dentist appointment at 11:30. You're not gonna make it. It puts a lot of pressure on you, puts a lot of pressure on your doctor, and so I would really do not have an appointment to get to after your doctor's appointment if you can help it. So yes, time of day is, pick a time where it suits you if you can. So it's all about planning if you can. Also, doctors tend to run later, the later in the morning or the afternoon you get. So if you don't really mind waiting, if you're quite happy to sit in our lovely waiting room and read some magazines, and like one of my patients today was chatting away to one of her friends in the waiting room, she said, it's been the best 20 minutes, this has been brilliant. As I kept her waiting, but she seemed quite happy to be chatting away. So if you don't mind, relaxing in the waiting room, then book an appointment later on in the morning or the afternoon. If you prefer to be on time, like most people tend to do, I would urge you to book as early as possible in the morning or as early as possible after lunch, because the chances your doctor running on time are higher. Actually, I met someone the other day who said, I booked the first appointment of the doctor's in the morning. This wasn't me, I'm not one of my patients, but someone was saying to me they booked in with their doctor first appointment of the day, and I couldn't believe they were running late. It's like, welcome to our job, where nothing goes to plan ever, where things are unpredictable and certain things are urgent, and it's all about priorities. So if something comes up at 25 minutes past 8 in the morning and your first appointment is at 8:30, then the 8:30 person will have to wait. It's just the way healthcare works, I'm afraid. But I think most people know that. But anyway, it just goes to show, be prepared to wait. Don't be too surprised if you are waiting. I'm going to probably do a whole nother vlog tomorrow about why doctors run late. But I digress. Okay, so we're going to try and plan ahead as best we can. Pick a date well in advance if possible, so you're not under stress. And pick a time of day that actually you're not too pressured either. I'm just hearing all the comments in my head now. People going, oh, health is very stressful, you don't understand. We do get it as doctors. We see people every day who have extremely stressful lives, extremely stressful home circumstances, extremely stressful work circumstances, all three stressful things at once. We do understand the pressures people are under these days. It's what makes up most of our work, is the stress of the nation. So where am I going with this? Yes. So I know I can just hear people's comments going, oh, it's all right for you, doc, you can book your appointment 3 weeks in advance, so, jolly good. I'm just trying to tell you, if you can, so take my advice with the intention that I'm meaning. So yeah, book at a not too stressful time if possible. It's very surprising to me as a doctor, the number of people who come in and go, I don't really know why I booked this appointment. And they always say, because I booked it 3 weeks ago, now I can't remember. And I get it. Then I feel guilty that I've kept them waiting. It's been 3 weeks to see me, so I feel a bit guilty. But actually, if you book the appointment, you probably should know why you're booking it. And if you're not sure, I would say, please write it down. At the moment you book the appointment, you have a question in your head that you want answered. And the more specific that question is, the better. So at the time, write it down and try and be as specific as possible. Like, it might be that you've had some headaches or something. Try and write down what the question you want answered by the doctor is. Do you want to know the cause of the headaches? Do you want to know how to make it better? Do you want to know when you might just expect the headaches to come right? Are you particularly worried because you've had a relative have a headache and then the next week be diagnosed with a brain tumour or something? Tell the doctor if you can specifically, and don't be embarrassed about saying things like that, because that is a window for us doctors. That's a window into the mind of the patient. So if you can, try and be as specific as possible. So write down, the minute you book the appointment, write down why you're booking the appointment, and then over the coming 2 or 3 weeks, or however long you have to wait for your doctor's appointment, anything that comes to mind, jot that down on the bit of paper as well, or make a note on your phone or whatever. Questions that might come to mind, and then nearer the time, start honing it down a bit, because again, the doctor, we've all got usually time pressures, so usually appointments in New Zealand anyway tend to be 15 minutes max, or they're booked at 15-minute intervals is what we say at our practice. And I'll go into that in another vlog. So then, doctor's not going to have time to answer 105 questions. So try and hone it down to 1 or 2 questions that are top of mind, or why you're worried. Yes, and I would take that list to the doctors is the next thing. I'm very keen for my patients to bring in their scrap of paper and show me what's been on their mind for the last, 2 or 3 weeks since they booked the appointment. And if they don't bring their own list, I actually provide in reception, I provide a sheet of paper where my patients can actually, it specifically says, what is your main concern? And then patients can write down what is top of mind, what what actually brought them to the doctor. So I'm all for that. But yeah, just be aware, 3 sides of A4 piece of paper is going to be meaningless. Doctor's not going to have time to read screeds of paper. It's a bullet point, 1 or 2 points on a bit of paper, maybe 3 max. And once you've got your, say it's headache, actually it doesn't really matter what the symptom is often. Because you'll see where I'm going with this is, the doctor quite often is going to want the same or very similar information regardless of what the symptom is. So things like timeline, that is critical. We often want to hear we really need to hear the timeline. When the symptoms started, how long they've been going on for, what happened in what order. So these are really good things to try and get clear in your mind before the appointment. I have a lot of patients who say, how long have you been having the headaches? And they're like, oh yeah, quite a while. It's like, yeah, okay. But is that 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 6 years? So try and put it into days, weeks, months, years if you can. So timeline is very important. Speaking of timeline, I've just hit my 10,000 steps. If you want to know my thoughts on daily steps, I've got a short about that on my channel, so like and subscribe. Subscribe to Dr. Joe Lifestyle, especially if you want to see more vlogs, because I think this could be good. But actually, speaking of timeline, sorry, I've just got to look at my watch. Okay, doing all right. Timeline. So actually, this is probably a whole nother conversation about what to talk about in the consultation. So I might actually tackle that another time. But yes, okay, just to sum up getting the most out of your appointment, I think I'll cover in another vlog about the specifics of what we call the history or the story of your health concern. So I'll cover that in another video. But yes, so if you're in the consult, you've done just be aware. So at our practice, appointments are booked at 15-minute intervals. So that actually, when you think about it, it doesn't mean your appointment is 15 minutes long. So try and think about it in terms of all the people we have to see in the day, as it were. So I know people sort of think about their own 15 minutes, and that is a good idea, but if you kind of think about it, so in that 15 minutes, the doctor has to call you in from the waiting room. So that's probably a minute by the time most people have walked down the corridor. Obviously then the consultation starts. Then at some point the conversation has to wrap up and the patient will leave the room, you will leave the room, and at some point the doctor has to write some notes. And any paperwork that has been generated by that consultation. So there is often a lot to do in those 15 minutes, because it's not 15 minutes. It's probably, well, if it was really, patient comes in, talks, even that is probably 13 minutes. By the time you've called the patient in, that's a minute. Consultation, patient leaves, doctor writes the notes. So you see, it's already 13 minutes, and there's no paperwork. What I mean by paperwork is referrals. So if the doctor needs to refer you for an x-ray, or refer you to physio, or refer you to a specialist at the hospital, or all of that takes extra time. So as soon as you need a referral, your appointment time's just gone down to about 5 minutes. So just be mindful that 15 minutes is not really 15 minutes, and it's not really it's not really even 12 minutes, but please just be mindful of that. And us doctors, I know people will say, well, why don't you keep everything to time. It's, well, again, actually that is another video. But sometimes I have patients who at 15 minutes say, oh, I don't want to keep you long, I don't want to, I'm at my 15 minute, and they're very good like that. I really appreciate that. But if you've brought 3 things and I'm halfway through 2 of the things, it's probably just more efficient to just finish the 2 things and call you back in another time for the 3rd thing. Actually, I'm going to end my video here because I feel my brain is just spinning out with all the complexities of being a GP, and I've realised it's quite hard to convey it all without sounding like a raving lunatic. So I'm going to leave it there. I feel like I got a bit ranty. I don't know if that's a good idea on YouTube as a doctor, to be a bit ranty. I feel like there's going to be lots of comments, and I will try and respond to them. But yes, if you'd like to hear a few more of my thoughts, and perhaps you think, goodness me, she's rabbited on about all sorts of things, and I really would have liked it if she just told me what I was meant to say in the consult. If there's anything you think you'd like to hear a bit more about because I've skimmed over it, or perhaps didn't explain well enough, do leave a comment and I will try and cover it in my next video. If you're someone who has problems, I know there's a bit of an anti-doctor thing, which I probably, I realise not every, anyway. Again, we kind of get it, but look, I am trying really hard to work for my patients, and I think I do work really hard. So please be kind to me in the comments. I'm just trying to establish myself on YouTube. I don't really know what direction I want to go. I think I've got something to offer as a doctor, but I don't know quite what it is. So if you would like to see me do any particular content, or I'm going to keep vlogging this week and see how that goes, but if you've got any specific questions that you would like me to try and tackle, do let me know. I quite like questions from patients, so if you're a viewer and you're a patient and you've always wanted to ask a doctor something, give it a go. Anyway, thanks very much guys, see you later.